Alright everyone, how you guys doing? Welcome to Apple Weekly. I've lost count, but this is a show where I intend on covering Apple stories every week, once a week, on both YouTube and iTunes. So feel free to subscribe to the iTunes link. Going straight into the stories, up first is the next generation iPad, which is rumoured to launch next month. And here is a case. Judging from how accurate the 5C and the 5S iPhones were prior to being launched, it's safe to say this is something that is going to be similar to the iPad. Will it be in different colours, i.e. champagne, silver and kind of a solid grey? From this image, as you can see, it kind of looks nicely polished off. And yes, no doubt the next generation of iPad minis will look the same in terms of colour options. And if you are looking to trade it in for a Microsoft Surface, now is the time, because Microsoft are offering $200 to start off from, depending on how good condition your iPad is in, or how new it is, then the more money you'll get for it. If you're looking to get an iPhone 5S in gold, you're going to be disappointed because you're not going to get one. The iPhone 5S has been released in Australia and it literally says 10 to 15 days or shipping in October. It's going to be really lucky. Multiple sources have said the 5S is in huge shortage. And of those shortages, the gold is kind of a no-no. So you'll be lucky to get a gold. Consider yourself lucky if you're going to get gold. So if you do want one, make sure you're there. If you're in the UK, obviously, 8 AM online and book it there. Or if you want one guaranteed, you're probably going to have to arrive a bit earlier to queue up at around 5-6 AM, depending on how heavy traffic area that your Apple store is in. And moving on, as you know, iOS 7 was launched yesterday with a lot of troubles in terms of downloading. I had to wait about a good half an hour, 45 minutes, and the iPad 2 I just kind of gave up on. But this morning I managed to get the iPad 2 up, and if you already haven't updated your iPad 2 to new iOS 7, don't. It is kind of a disaster in terms of lag and usage. So you'd be better off waiting until they release a new update on that. Just to sum up my thoughts on iOS 7, I think it's great. I think mainly I wanted a new design. I was sick and tired of seeing the same old design over the few years. Yes, the internal bumps were good over the years, but I think it just needed more of a fresher approach. I find it really snappy, especially in mail and so on. It kind of zips through, and the general effects, the fonts that they've used, I think some are bad, Safari, but the majority of it is pretty snazzy. Apple also released OS X Mavericks, the new developer Beta 8 now, and I've been using it from Beta 1 since they've announced Mavericks, and it's you can tell over the betas how the good improvements there are over each beta, but I can't really tell any improvements from 7 to 8. And one of the issues I'm still kind of slightly having is mail. It's definitely improved in the most recent update, but you know, the Grand Master release, or the final release, is expected next month, so hopefully we'll be seeing maybe 1 or 2 more betas before that. But having used Mavericks over the past couple of weeks, of course this is running Mavericks and this is running Mountain Lion, you can tell a difference, and I do prefer Mavericks. It's just more snappy and some of the features on it are just good. The Finder tabs and so on, it just seems to be a bit more responsive, faster boot up times, just the little things. So yeah, I can't wait for the final release. Up next, a brand new Apple TV this year is supposedly expected. Yes, that is according to a few analysts, and Gene Munster has said that he is still expecting a kind of an Apple TV 2, whether that be in the form of the same kind of concept, the square box, or whether it be an actual television with Apple TV in it. Either way, I think this year will be too crowded, and I don't think they'd be doing it for this year. I think it'll most probably be a 2014 project, but Apple are known to give surprises, and maybe that'll be one of the main kind of highlights come this holiday season. PS, the last Apple TV hardware update was just over 500 days ago, so yes, it is in need of an update. And last but not least, the thing that I'm most excited about is supposedly there is an Apple event on the 15th of October, unconfirmed / confirmed. It was brought out by a website called Mac Generation. They have been right in the past and they have been wrong as well, but supposedly it's a Tuesday, and we know Apple notoriously hold Tuesday events, and of course new iPads, Mavericks, Mac Pro, iMacs, Mac Minis, MacBook Pro, These are all due for an update in terms of Haswell processors, and if Mavericks is coming out, they want it to be on new machines. So I don't expect anything major in terms of Mac Mini and iMac refreshes. I think it will just be a Haswell refresh. Hoping for a Retina MacBook Pro 13-inch. I don't think it'll be anything significant, just a Haswell processor bump. As of this month, the iMacs have been constrained in various retailers. Some retailers aren't stocking the high-end ones, and some retailers aren't getting new shipments, so that is usually a good indication that a refresh is around the corner, and hopefully we'll be seeing Mac Pros in actual kind of work scenarios, and maybe even pre-orders starting £5,000, perhaps, possibly. And of course new iPads. Don't expect anything significant, and it'll just be possibly Touch ID and A7 processors. But I guess I'm not an iPad guy, hence why I'm not up for them. But in the comments below, feel free to leave what you are waiting for come the next event. Personally, Retina MacBook Pro 13 inches with Haswell processors should be pretty nice. And before I go, check this image out. Yes, the Syrian rebel army is indeed using an iPad. There's an app for everything, as they say. But feel free to join me on all these social links: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Leave your comments below or abuse, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers!